But selection storage is very important on these golden pineapples. Now, golden pineapples have 50% more vitamin C, roughly. And then you want to check the bottom right here. Make sure it's free from any decaying whatsoever. When you bring them home, store them on the counter, never in the refrigerator. Now, what I like... Well, today's tip of the day is going to be with pineapple. You know, for the holidays, pineapple sales go crazy. They go up maybe 20 to 30% over the whole year.
You ever pay $6 for a tub of pre-cut pineapple and tell yourself it's worth it? Here's the kicker: that $6 shortcut costs you freshness, nutrients, and cash. The $2 whole pineapple sitting right next to it. Same fruit, better everything. The moment produce is sliced, nutrients start slipping away, long before you even reach the checkout screen. By the end of this list, you'll see just how many grocery items quietly charge you a convenience tax. And once you see how much value gets diced, bottled, or bagged out of your food, it's hard to unsee it. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. What if your $6 tub of pineapple is actually a downgrade disguised as a time saver? That neat, plastic box glowing under store lights looks like next-level convenience.
Well, today's tip of the day is going to be with pineapple. You know, for the holidays, pineapple sales go crazy. They go up maybe 20 to 30% over the whole year. What I do, I've said this before, is I cut off the top right here, and then I take the pineapple and I store it upside down. Because of all the cooking and, of course, the ham and so many different recipes you make with pineapple, let alone it's just beautiful on the counter.
No knife, no cutting board, no sticky counter. But what you're really buying is the most expensive way to eat a weaker version of the same fruit sitting right beside it for $2. That's the convenience tax. You're paying triple to skip 5 minutes of cutting, while the store pockets the difference and hands you a product that started declining the moment the blade touched it. That's the trade-off few people stop to think about. Those pineapple chunks were sliced hours ago, often in bulk facilities, wrapped, labeled, and driven through refrigerated storage long before they land in the display case. During all that downtime, nutrients are fading. The freshness that used to come with whole fruit dies faster when the protective skin is gone. Vitamin C, especially, takes a beating from oxygen exposure and fluorescent light.
But selection storage is very important on these golden pineapples. Now, golden pineapples have 50% more vitamin C, roughly. Very important. You can have a little bit more green than yellow, but that's okay with these pineapples. Just make sure the whole thing isn't green. Check the crown, make sure it's nice and firm. The golden pineapple. But selection and storage is very, very important. When you buy them, check the eyes right here, nice and plump.
The brighter the store, the faster the breakdown. The tub still looks glossy, but the inside is already past its best moment. Meanwhile, that $2 pineapple you walk past still holds everything it had on the truck: juice, texture, and a natural layer of protection built in by nature. The difference is not just in price, it's in lifespan. A whole pineapple on your counter will stay firm and sweet for several days. The diced version turns mushy within 48 hours, sometimes less. You're not only paying more up front, you're paying again when half of it ends up in the trash because it starts to brown before you remember it's in the fridge. It's not just pineapple either. The entire pre-cut produce section is built on this illusion.
And 50% less acidity than the regular white pineapples. That's why they're so popular now. Then, you want to check the bottom right here. Make sure it's free from any decaying whatsoever. When you bring them home, store them on the counter, never in the refrigerator. Now, what I like...
You see tidy cubes of melon, diced mango, even ready-to-blend smoothie mixes, each sold under a label that whispers, "You're busy, you deserve convenience." Packaging engineers know that message works. Clear plastic, bold fonts, bright lids, they all signal that slicing your own fruit is outdated, something your grandmother did before time became a premium. The psychology is subtle. The sharper the branding, the easier it is to forget you're voluntarily paying extra for someone else's knife work. There's another layer to this: airless packs that keep those chunks fresh by sealing them in moisture. At first glance, it seems smart: keep the air out, slow the spoilage. But moisture trapped in plastic doesn't behave like a fruit's natural skin. It creates a humid mini greenhouse that softens the texture and amplifies bacteria growth the moment the seal breaks. That's why those slices go from firm to slimy overnight. The label might say, fresh cut daily, but freshness isn't something that can be vacuum sealed. By the time you tear off that lid, you've already lost. The product's life cycle is shorter, its nutrient level is lower, and your wallet is lighter. The math never adds up in the consumer's favor. You think you're saving 5 minutes, but you'll spend 10 wiping the sticky film off your fingers as you toss out the leftovers you didn't finish. It's supermarket theater, a performance of ease that hides the cost of waste. There's also the false sense of safety that comes with pre-cut produce. It looks handled, processed, packaged under bright, clean light, so it must be fine, right? Except the more hands and blades that touch it, the more chances it has to pick up contaminants along the way. Every extra step before it meets your fridge is another moment when temperature or sanitation might slip. So that illusion of modern, prep-free health is sometimes the riskiest item in your cart. Once you start seeing it for what it is, the pattern becomes hard to unsee. Grocery stores have turned ordinary time-saving tricks into profit engines. Pre-cut fruit is just the friendliest-looking version of a bigger strategy: convince you that skipping basic prep is a sign of efficiency, not dependency. But here's the simple truth. Cutting your own fruit costs less, stays fresher, and actually keeps more nutrients intact. The juice tastes brighter, the smell is sharper, and it doesn't dissolve into pulp 2 days later. You don't need a chef's knife set or a YouTube tutorial to claim that win. All you need is 5 minutes and a cutting board. Once you do it a few times, the task stops feeling like work and starts feeling like control, financial and physical. The store loses a little margin, and you regain the flavor you've been missing. Now think about it: if this one item hides that kind of markup and loss, what else in your kitchen might be quietly charging you the same convenience tax? The answer usually sits right behind the next shiny label. Convenience looks harmless, but it's the most expensive habit in your cart. You trade flavor, texture, and nutrition for a few saved minutes. Grocery aisles thrive on that impulse, the shiny packaging that sells shortcuts like progress. The truth is simpler: every pre-cut slice or ready-mix deal drains a little more from your wallet and your food. So give yourself those 5 minutes back. Cut your own fruit, prep your own meals, and keep the good stuff intact. If you care about getting real value from what you buy, share this video and stick with Whole Foods. They're still the smartest bargain of 2025.